Hello everyone. I'm Professor Sheetal Bandekar from the Department of MCA, and I'm very glad to tell you all that I would be giving a presentation on General English and Grammar topic, wherein I'm going to divide my presentation in two parts. In my first presentation, I'm going to tell you all about the question paper pattern that you would be getting for the PGCET examination. And in the second part of my presentation, I'm going to give you all certain tips on certain aspects of grammar that would help you people to solve the questions very easily. So without wasting much time, I will start with the presentation about the English grammar and vocabulary question paper pattern that you would be getting for the PGCET examination. So let me start with the type of questions that you would be getting for synonyms. Now, synonyms are words in English which are having similar meaning. So, in your PGCET, there would be questions on synonyms wherein you will be given a particular word. Like, for example, a synonym for adversary is. So if you look at the question paper pattern of PGCET, any examination, I would like right from, if you can take any paper, 10 years back paper, you would find that for every question you will have four options. Okay. So the questions that you would be asked for synonym is that a word would be given to you and you have to identify the correct meaning or the similar a word which is having a same meaning. Like for example, a synonym for adversary is. Now, there are no tips and tricks as far as synonyms and antonyms and vocabulary is concerned. All that will be evaluated is that your knowledge about your vocabulary. If you have a strong vocabulary, you would be able to solve it. However, let's try to see how to do it. So, the meaning of adversary is something, who is somebody who is going to be an opponent to you. Okay, so the obviously the answer is opponent over here. If you look at the other options, it cannot be poor. Poor is not an adversary. Ally is also not an adversary nor an agent. So obviously, by looking at the different meanings of the different words, you could easily guess it that adversary basically means opponent. Okay. Then next question is a synonym for scarcity. The meaning of scarcity means something which is like, you don't have sufficient, something wherein something is lacking. So scarcity basically means insufficient. If you look at the meanings of the other word, adequate, plentiful, enough is something exactly opposite of scarcity. But synonym is a word wherein, you have to try to find out a word with a similar meaning. So, for which you should be knowing the actual meaning of the word which they have asked in the question. And the next question is a synonym for rescind. Rescind means something which you want to cancel. Okay, so the options that have been given here is to return, to revert, to cancel, to remind. As I said, the basic meaning of rescind means you have to cancel. So these are the type of questions that you get for synonyms. And you would also get questions on antonyms. Antonyms are nothing but words with opposite meaning. Exactly opposite meaning. Okay. So again, you will be asked like this. The antonym for a word is given to you with four options. You need to find a word which is exactly opposite. Now, if you look at the first question, debtor. Debtor is something, a word that comes from the field of commerce. Debtor, debit, credit, debtor, creditor. So obviously here you can directly guess that for the opposite word for debtor is creditor. It cannot be any other options. The antonym for counsel, you might have seen that counsel is a very common word. So whenever you want to counsel somebody means you are trying to advise them, give them advice, give them your opinion. So obviously, if you look at the words here, that advise, publish, it cannot be advice. Of course, advice is correct. The meaning of counsel is advice, but then you have to look at the word which is opposite. So it cannot be advice, it cannot be publish, it cannot be rectify. You're not rectifying something. Okay, rectify is basically a verb. Okay, counsel is also a verb, of course. So obviously the opposite meaning of counsel is oppose. Then the antonym for profane. Profane means something which is very, very holy and sanctified. So obviously it cannot be volatile. I mean, volatile, sacred, useless. These are useless is something which is no way related to profane. Okay, volatile is also no way related to profane. Sacred, yes, to a certain extent, it's a synonym for profane. But then unholy is exactly the opposite of profane. So this is how you get the questions for the synonyms. So antonyms and synonyms play a very important part in your PGCET question paper. Apart from antonyms and synonyms, you have question tags. So what is a question tag? Now look at this. You would be getting a question like this. Replace part of the given sentence which is in bold with an alternative to improve the sentence. She teaches us grammar, isn't it? Actually, in this example, isn't it is a wrong answer. So they're asking you to replace it. So whenever you get a questions for question tag, read the sentence carefully. The sentence says that she teaches us grammar. Now there are four options given, which is the right option. What you need to do is try to interpret the meaning of she teaches us grammar. She teaches us grammar means that you're talking positive. Okay. So the question tag will be exactly opposite of the interpretation of the meaning says that she teaches grammar means she's positively she's doing something. First try to find out whether the sentence is giving you a positive meaning or a negative meaning. In this example it is positive, so the question tag will be exactly opposite. So it cannot be isn't she. Okay, isn't she. So isn't is again positive. Doesn't it, it is again, it cannot be used. Okay, grammatically it is not correlating with she teaches grammar. Doesn't it, it is wrong. No improvement, that is also wrong. So obviously the answer is doesn't she. Doesn't she. So she teaches. So exactly the question tag will be opposite. Doesn't she. Okay. So it cannot be isn't is or similar. Isn't is again positive. So look at the second question. Fill in the blank with the right question tag. Your son had promised to call you to the USA. The meaning of the question is you are talking a positive. Your the question is positive. Your son had. Now look at the auxiliary verb had. Okay, it says that your son had promised to call you to the USA. So what will be the question tag? Exactly opposite of had. Hadn't he? Okay, hadn't he. It cannot be did he. You're not asking. It's a question tag. Didn't he again is the opposite. Okay, didn't he, but you cannot use do here because the auxiliary verb has is there. Okay, so didn't he, did he is similar. Okay, it's positive. Didn't he is negative, but do cannot be used here because auxiliary verb had is there. Had he is again positive, exactly above opposite of had. Had promise will be hadn't he. So this is the thing that you need to remember with respect to the question tag. Then, coming to the questions on grammar, now let's go to the third part, grammar. So there are some questions wherein they directly ask you the rules of grammar. Like for example, the interjection wow expresses. Now, whenever try to recall when do you use wow? Whenever you are very excited, very surprised, something. Oh my God, something which is incredible, something which is very very surprising. So you say so. The usage of wow is not for grief, not for pain, not for recognition. Obviously, it is for great surprise. Now look at this question. All the proper nouns begin with. So it is a directly they're asking you the grammatical rules. Obviously, capital letters is the right answer. Advise. Now we look at this. Advise. Now whether it's a noun or a verb or an adverb or an adjective. Advice is verb. It is not a noun. Okay. Advice. Advise is a noun, but any word that ends with s is actually a verb. Okay. So this is how you get a questions. You get questions. Now look at the other examples here. She can sing film songs. Can indicates. Now this is a question on modal verbs. Okay. Now can is indicating there are different modal verbs in English can be used for to talk about futurity or probability or obligation or ability. But here you're talking about ability. She can sing film song means you're talking about ability. Answer is ability. Then articles, yes. Articles are parts of English wherein you have to choose between a and the and sometimes zero article. So character is, okay, you're not talking about now destiny is something which is a kind of a word which does not require either a nor an nor the. You're not talking about specific destiny. You're not talking about uh, you can say singular noun. Generally a and an are used for singular noun and the is used for specific noun. But destiny is something which is which does not have any article, so the answer is zero article. So in this example, character is not a destiny. It is neither an destiny or nor the destiny. Okay, so the answer is none. Choose the suitable verb. Now, so this question is about subject verb agreement. So the subject is boys, okay, and the object is kites. What do boys do? Will flies, fly, none. So boys fly kites, okay, or flies kites. So the verb here has to agree with the subject. I'm going to talk about articles and subject verb agreement and preposition and how to identify. I'm going to give the tricks and the tips and tricks how to identify the right subject verb agreement, how to identify the right article, how to identify the right preposition in the later part of my session. Right now, just concentrate on the type of questions that could be asked for your examination. Then she is clever. Now here again you need to pick the right preposition. It cannot be in cooking, with cooking, on cooking. With you're not using some instrument. Okay, I am working with my laptop. You're not working with. With is generally used with some object. There's no object here. It is a cooking is an action continuous. Okay, so she is clever at cooking. The right answer is at. So you need to identify which is the right preposition. So this question is on preposition. So you may get questions on article, subject, verb, agreement, prepositions. The next question is also on preposition with vehicle. He was traveling alone. So answer for this is on a bus. It is not in a bus, by bus or off bus. So we saw that the grammatical questions that are asked in PGCET could be on articles, could be on prepositions, could be on subject verb agreement, it could be on choosing the right, I mean, identifying the type of modal verbs and tenses. Now, the next question is about tenses. The tiger caught a fox. Okay, you have to identify, select the one which best expresses the same sentence in passive voice. So first of all, you need to find out the tense. The tiger caught a fox is simple past, simple past. Okay. So you cannot say a fox has been caught by the tiger. First identify what type of tense this particular sentence is talking about. The tiger caught a fox. I'm not saying it doesn't say the tiger is catching. Catching is continuous. Caught a fox. Okay. It has just the tiger caught a fox. So it is simple. I mean, simple. It's not simple present. It is neither continuous. It is perfect. Okay. Perfect. Present perfect. So tiger caught a fox. So it cannot be tiger has been caught by the tiger. A fox has been caught by the tiger. It cannot be a fox is caught by the tiger. Okay. So a fox was caught by the tiger is the right answer because caught here is talking about the past tense. So it is not talking about the present tense. So first of all, you have to identify the tense and then appropriately all the four options looks, almost similar. You may feel that all the four are correct answer. But then since the word caught talks about the past tense, it's a simple past. So fox was caught by the tiger. So you need to identify the right tense. Then she completed the work first. Okay, now here you have to identify the right linking word. Now there are two sentences here. She completed the work first. She had began late. So which one would fit right? Because is generally used to give reasons. Okay, for cannot be used here because it's not at all. Uh, you're not giving any reasons. Because is generally used for reasons. Still cannot be. You just try to fit. She completed the work first because she had begun. You're not giving reason. Okay, she generally, if you're starting a work late, it's obvious that you may not complete it on time. But here she is completing it even though she has began it late. So though answer would be though. She completed the work first, though she had began late. Okay, so answer is so you have to identify the right linking word. He could not explain why he was late. Okay, now here again though cannot be, though doesn't fit here. Okay, it is exactly complementary. I mean it's not complementary, it's not reasoning. Okay, he could not explain as to why he was late. Why was he late is not as to why he was late. Okay, so you need to identify the right word. So these are the type of questions that could be asked for the grammar. Then coming to the next is the spelling errors. Okay, here also there is no tips and tricks that can be used. You have to be good at your grammar, you have to be good at vocabulary or English ability to write words in the write proper words with good correct spelling is something that is tested here. So they'll give you four options. You need to identify the wrong. So identify the word which is wrongly spelled. This is the type of questions, and you'll get four questions, four options wherein you need to select the right one. Like illiterate, illegal. You can see all the words are starting with ill. Okay, and the first one is wrong. Illiterate spelling is wrong, and the second one here there is no. All the words are not having any similar pattern. Camouflage, chaos, recommend, rebellion. So the rebellion, looking at this word itself, you should be able to identify it as wrong. Okay. Then identify here also you can see severity, sincerity, all are ending with et. Okay, cruelty. So, but the spelling of cruelty, you can see here, this is the wrong spelling. So sometimes you may get questions which are having options with a similar pattern, and sometimes like the second one, as you can see here, you may not. And coming to the vocabulary part, there are different types of questions that could be asked. There is no similar kind of question paper pattern. See, let me tell you that sometimes you may be asked with 10 questions and sometimes they may give you 15 questions. It again depends. Okay. So whatever, either you may get 10 questions or 15 questions, but these are the areas that they try to cover: synonyms, antonyms, question tags, grammar, and then vocabulary. Now, vocabulary part could be questions something like, directly they'll try to see, check your meanings. Okay. A philanthropist, a word. What is the meaning of a philanthropist? They'll give you four options. You need to identify. So there is nothing like tips and tricks that can be given for finding out the meaning of a particular word. You have to improve your rich vocabulary. You need to have a rich vocabulary. Then look at the second question. A number of ships or cars is called as this. They're trying to find out whether your knowledge in collective nouns is correct or not. So this is an example of a collective noun. So the answer is fleet. The original inhabitants of a place are called altruists, settlers, immigrants, aborigines. Okay. So these are the type of question. Now look at this. The gift of the gab. Now this is an idiom. What is the meaning of the gift of the gab? Okay. Generally, when idioms are asked, idioms do not mean, the meaning of an idiom is exactly something very different from the words gift. It has got nothing to do with gift. Okay, the gift of the gab, it has nothing to do with gab. It means fluency of speech. Okay, and then look at the next question. Elimination of a racial group by killing. So when, now in this example, all four words are of the same type. All four words mean killing either one person, or like homicide means you're killing one person, regicide means king, genocide means mass killing, patricide means killing a father. So these are all words related to killing, but then racial group means it is genocide. Then the prefix poly. Now here look at this. Poly generally means what? Many. Okay. So this is the type of questions that could be asked for vocabulary. Emeritus, again direct meaning they're asking you. Emeritus means what? Is he suspended from service or resigned from service or honorably discharged from service or relieved from service? Generally, people who are suspended, there is no such specific word for suspension and resignation and relieving. But then emeritus is something which means honorably discharged from the service. Then the next question, fill up the blank with the word that is suitable. I cannot dash meaning of the sentence means what? Now here they're trying to find out which word best fits the sentence. In this example, you can see all these are verbs, and some most three, first one is a verb and the remaining are all phrasal verbs. Okay. Make up, make out, make for, make. So which is the right answer? I cannot make out the meaning. Okay. So answer is, so again they're testing the knowledge of phrasal verbs. What is the meaning of phrasal or idiom? To see eye to eye. So when they say idiom means, it doesn't mean that you're looking into the eye, and the interpretation of the idioms, the word, every word in an idiom will have a meaning. See, eye, and but the actual interpretation of idiom will be something entirely different from the meanings of the words which are used in the idiom. So it means to agree with. Then he is out and out a reactionary. What is the meaning of out and out? It means thoroughly. Then select a word from four alternatives which is closest in meaning to the statement. One who is at the stage of growth between boyhood and here they have given you the meaning. You have to find out the right words. Obviously, it is adolescent. Then he enjoys. Okay, so he enjoys. You have to pick up the right word. It cannot be sound health, which actually sound can be there, but you need to find the right word which will best fit the sentence. Again, you need to have a good knowledge of vocabulary. He enjoys good health. It cannot be pink of health. Pink of health means is an idiom. Okay. He enjoys fine health doesn't fit. Best word that fits in the sentence is good. Then the company has agreed in principle. Now, agreeing in principle or in general or in view. So again, you have to choose the right word that goes with the sentence. It actually in principle is actually a phrase. Okay, it means that you are agreeing with the person on certain terms and conditions without going much into detail. Then identify the now. These are neither. Look at the last two questions. They are nothing to do with grammar or vocabulary or synonyms and antonyms. You have to just find out the wrong pair. So if you look at these options given in the first question, curtail, enlarge, obscure, abstruse, obscure. Now, if you look at the pattern, okay, try to look at the pattern. Obscure or abstruse means to hide. Ample and abundant means something which is more. So you can see obscure and abstruse are synonyms. Ample and abundant are synonyms. Abridge and condense means to make something you can say decrease in quantity, abridge and condense. So all these are synonyms. So curtail means to cut short, and enlarge means to make large. So this is a pattern which is not fitting this particular pair. All other pairs are synonyms. Curtail and enlarge are antonyms. Then last question I'm going to take is a pattern which you can see here: sugar, molasses, gasoline, what? So what is sugar? Sugar is made from molasses. You just try to figure out the relation between sugar and molasses. Okay. So sugar is made from molasses. Similarly, gasoline is made from petroleum. So this is the relation. It cannot be drill. Drill is a verb. Quarry. No, gasoline has got nothing to do with drill and quarry. So first look at the pattern with sugar and molasses. Sugar made from molasses, gasoline made from petroleum. So this is the type of questions that you would be getting for your PGCET examination. Now that I have discussed the type of questions that you would be likely to get in your PGCET examination, now I'm going to take you through another presentation of mine wherein I'm going to tell you all certain tips and tricks with regarding to prepositions and articles and subject verb agreement, because tips and tricks can be discussed with respect to the grammar part but not with the vocabulary or any other part. Okay, so let me start quickly take up with prepositions. Okay, now whenever you talk about preposition in on at, in and on and at can be used with time and location. If you look at this figure, you find a inverted pyramid over here. Now, in this inverted pyramid, okay, if you look at the time part, whenever you want to talk about a time which is very big, like centuries in the 1800s, decades in the 80s, decade is a span of 10 years, specific year in the year 1970, months in July, in the month of May, in the month of June, weeks. I will finish this task in 2 weeks. So whenever you want to talk about time info, which is very big to measure, like century, decades, years, months, and weeks, we use in. Whenever we want to talk about time a bit which is more specific and you want to talk about a specific day, like when is your birthday, you may say my birthday is on 5th Feb. So you use on to talk about specific day. When is Diwali this year? Diwali is on 25th November. So whenever you want to talk about a specific day, you have to use on. Okay, and then when you want to be very more specific about time, that is when you want to talk about the time in terms of hours and minutes, then we use at. So what time did you wake up? I woke up at 6 o'clock. I woke up at 5 o'clock. I have my class at 12 o'clock. So at is used to talk about time, which is even more shorter. Similarly, when it comes to location, whenever we want to talk about location, which is very big, like country, city, and neighborhood, then we use in. Like, which country do you live? I live in India. Which state do you live? I live in Karnataka. Where in Karnataka? In Belgavi. So whenever you want to talk about country, state, city, use in, which is big in size. Similarly, when you want to talk about streets and avenues and roads, where is your house? My house is on the Kirloskar Road. Okay, street, name of the streets, name of the avenues, and name of the roads we use on. Okay, so this is the trick. Now, when you want to be very, very specific, exactly where, okay, then we use at. Where is your apartment? It's on the Kirloskar Road, or you can say at. You can say I live at Tilakwadi. My shop is at Tilakwadi. Instead of saying in, we say at. So whenever you want to talk about address, which is very very specific, where are you right now? I'm at the theater. I'm at the theater. I'm at the store. So you're trying to be more specific. So this is how you need to use prepositions in, on, at with respect to time and location. And when it comes to prepositions with vehicles, what you need to do is, like, this is the trick that you need to remember. Okay, if you are able to sit inside the vehicle, like you can sit in a car, you can sit in a taxi, you can sit in a helicopter, you cannot stand and walk freely. So such type of vehicles we use in. Okay, so whenever, so you may say I'm in a car, I'm in a jeep, I'm in a tempo, I'm in a cab, I'm in a taxi, I'm in a helicopter, because you cannot stand and walk. But all those vehicles where you can stand and walk easily, then you have to say I'm on a ship, on a bus, on a plane, on a subway. Okay, because these are the vehicles wherein you can stand and walk. So this is a trick that you can use with respect to prepositions when it is used with vehicles. Now coming to the next part is article. Here these are other types of prepositions. You can see the bird is on the table, under the table. So any object which is touching the surface, the bird is touching its leg on the surface of the table. On, under is exactly again, both the objects are touching with each other. Under, next to, very very close to an object, the bird is next to. If you look at these pictures, you'll get an idea. In front of, behind, between, around, through. These are other types of prepositions, but generally people get confused with on, in, on, at with respect to time, location, and vehicles. Now coming to articles. Okay, there are three types of articles that you can use in English. Okay, one is a, an, and the. Remember, articles a, an, and the, all three are used to talk about singular nouns. Whenever you're talking about a noun which is singular, okay, a boy, a girl, an elephant, okay, an umbrella, all these are, you're talking about singular nouns. A and the are used with singular nouns. This is the first rule you must remember. Okay, now when to use a and when to use an. I will give you a trick here. Whenever you want to identify whether to use a or an, what you have to do is write the word in your local language, either Hindi or Kannada. Okay, then once you write it, try to check whether it starts with swar or vyanjan. You all must have studied swar and vyanjan. Okay, so in this example I have showed you university. When I write it in Hindi, it becomes university. So it starts with year, which is nothing but a vyanjan. If it starts with a vyanjan, you should use a university. Look at this next example. Honor, honor, Honor. What you have to do is write the word in Hindi. After you write the word in Hindi, try to check whether it starts with swar or vyanjan. If it starts with swar, you have to say an. If it starts with vyanjan, you have to say a. This is a trick that you have to remember. Similarly, European. Now, in case of European, what happens is that European starts with year. Okay, year. So year is a vyanjan. You have to say a European. Bag. Now, when I say bag, when I write bag in Hindi, it starts with ba. Ba is a vyanjan. We say a bag. So this is the trick that you need to use whenever you want to identify whether you want to use a or an with respect to singular nouns. Okay. Similarly, the also, of course, this will not be helpful in the examination. The is generally used with singular noun. The is generally used to talk about singular nouns, but you are trying to be very specific. Now, the can be pronounced in two ways, the and the, but pronunciation questions will not be asked in the examination, but just for the sake of information, I'm telling you, if the word that you, if you're trying to be very, very specific, the dog beside the well. Now you're trying to be, the is generally used whenever you want to talk, the White House. Okay. So these are trying, you're trying to be very, very specific. So when to choose the, suppose if some question, the, when you're talking about the name of specific buildings, okay, or you're talking about instruments, okay, instruments like I know to play the tabla, okay, the Times of India, the Indian Express, magazine names. So the is generally used when you're trying to be very, very specific about an object. Then coming to zero articles. Now there are certain articles wherein you cannot use any articles, neither like the example which we saw. Okay, destiny. We didn't use any articles. So what is the rule for zero articles? Zero articles are used with uncountable nouns. Now destiny cannot be counted. Remember that. Love cannot be counted. Remember that. So any nouns which cannot be counted, don't use any articles. Plural nouns, bookmarks, like boys, girls, we don't say boys and girls. Okay, any noun which are nouns which are plurals, don't use any articles. Then proper nouns like your name, your surname, your country name, your state name, don't use any articles. General location, whenever like home, you don't say a home, an home, the home. Okay, so generally when you're talking about home, work, school, you don't use any articles. Continent names, Africa, all the seven continents, we don't use any articles. Institutions, church, college, we don't use any articles. Country names, state names, city names, don't use any articles. Individual lakes and mountains, don't use any articles. Okay, individual lakes and mountains. Mount Everest is a individual mountain. Lake, a specific lake, we don't use any articles. Planets, all the nine planets and outer space, we don't use any articles. So these are the things that you must remember when you're talking about these zero articles. Okay, then coming to the next is about tenses. Now, how to identify which tense a particular word or a sentence is talking about. Generally, every sentence will have a verb. Okay, so there are three types of tenses in English: present, past, and future. Okay, I will just give you a hint as to how to remember the tenses. Now, let's take an example: play. Play is a regular verb. Okay, simple play. I say I play. Whenever you want to talk about something that you do regularly, like I eat food, I drink water, okay, I play badminton. So this is something which I do. The verb will not change its form. But when you're doing an action, now look at this second example. Play, whenever you're talking about, there are four subcategories of every tense. Okay, present tense, present continuous, present perfect, present perfect continuous. Indefinite means simple. Another word for indefinite is simple. So when you want to talk about present continuous, something which you're doing right at the moment, I am playing badminton. Perfect is something which are just finished. So here you can see the verb play becomes playing. Whenever you find ing, it means it is continuous. Okay. So I am playing, you are playing, she is playing. So third person singular it becomes is. So along with playing, the irregular, the auxiliary verbs get added. Then look at this. Perfect play becomes ed. Okay, ed gets added. Ing gets added whenever there is continuous tense. I have played, she has played. Okay. So along with played, you get the auxiliary verb have and has. It is for the present tense. Then for present continuous, have been or has been. So what happens here is have been and has been gets added. So similarly, when you are talking about the past tense, I played badminton. Just now I played badminton. So it is a simple past. Play becomes played. I was playing. Now here the auxiliary verb for past tense becomes was. I was playing, she was playing, we were playing. Okay. So and whenever there is ing, remember it is continuous. Okay. But if the ing, if the verb is followed, preceded by auxiliary verb, okay, then it is simple continue, I mean just continues. Okay, I had played. Now look at this example here. Has and have is there for present tense. Here you have had. I had played badminton, so it's a perfect. Okay, had been. Now see, whenever been comes into existence, it means it is perfect continuous. So this is a trick, I mean this is a table that you have to remember whenever it comes to identifying the tenses. All that you need to do is look at the regular verb, look at the pattern. If it is, if it is not changing, the verb is not changing, play, sing, dance, the verbs are not changing its form, it means it is simple. Ing means it is continuous. Okay. If the verb with I that ends with ing is preceded with auxiliary verb, that means it is simple continuous. Simple continuous or past continuous. Okay. Perfect means either have or had. For past tense, have or had. In the present or past, have or had will get added. Okay. Had been means, or have been, had been means it is perfect continuous. So this is what you need to remember. Now, if you look at the future tense is similar, exactly similar to the present tense, only will and shall gets added. Now I say I play, I will say I will play, I shall play. Okay, will and shall, whenever will and shall gets preceded before the verb, it means it is future tense. Otherwise, the verb, the pattern of the verb remains the same. Then coming to the next part of the grammar is the subject and the verb agreement. Now for the subject and verb agreement, all that you need to remember is that every sentence has a subject and has a verb. The verb has to agree with the subject in terms of number and in terms of the whether the verb is singular or plural. Okay. And in person, whether it is first person, second person, third person, and or whether it is singular or plural. Now I will give you a particular hint over here. Now whenever you have a regular verb like work, play, dance, sing. Okay. Now look at this. I work, you work, we work, you work, they work. Now everywhere the pattern of the verb, regular verb, work remains the same. Only for third person singular, work become works. This is a trick you need to remember. Always remember, whenever you have questions for subject verb agreement, third person singular is a special case. So if it is a regular verb, it becomes works. Work become works. Like I say, everywhere it remains the same. But when you talk about third person singular, he plays, she plays, it plays. I work, every the work. But when it comes to third person singular, it becomes works. So this is the first rule you must remember. Third person singular is very special. Now, if the verb is not regular, like suppose if I say I am a girl, okay, I am a girl. So the verb is irregular verb. I am. So what happens? I am a girl. You are a girl. Second person. She is a girl. Now what happens here? The regular verb be here becomes is. She is a girl. He is a boy. It is a machine. So the verb changes its form to is. Rest all places you can see it is RRR. And first person singular it is M. The verb, regular verb be in the present tense will change its form to is. So this is how you have to try to, this is how you're going to guess the right verb. Okay, always remember third person singular is a special case. Now look at the next example. Okay, we'll take the verb have, irregular verb have. Okay, I have a car, you have a car, we have a car, you have a car. Okay, everywhere the verb have remains have. But when it comes to third person, he has a car, she has a car, it has something. Okay, it has an engine. So whenever it comes to third person singular, have becomes has. Then similarly, the verb do. I do my work, you do your work. Okay, third person singular. He does his work, she does his work, it does its work. Everywhere you can say it is do, but when it comes to third person singular, do becomes does. So if you try to remember third person singular as a very important part of subject verb agreement, that every regular verb will become s will get added to regular verbs, and rest all places like for be, have, and do, everywhere it remains the same. Only thing is for third person singular, it changes the form. Then these are some of the linking words which you should be knowing. Always try to remember linking words. Okay, these linking words you should try to get this type of linking words from the internet, and so that you know it will help you sometimes to identify which linking word you have to use for this sentence to combine two sentences. Like whenever you want to talk about order, firstly, secondly, thirdly, summary, to conclude, all together, like this. So linking words are something that you people have to revise once again, so that there are sometimes questions asked to link two sentences with the right word. So this is all about the tips and tricks which I have tried to give you people. See, it's very difficult. English is not a subject that can be taught in 1 hour. You need to practice speaking. Your communication skills or your language ability is something which takes years of practice and years of learning, which cannot be actually done in 1 hour webinar or seminar. It's absolutely not possible. What I have tried to do is to tell you people, convey you people the type of questions that you would be getting for your PGCET. Let me tell you once again, the maximum number of questions that you could get is 15, 10 to 15, minimum 10, not less than 10. It would either be 10 or 15, not in between 10 and 15. Okay, once again, I am telling you the questions that you would be asked is about synonyms and antonyms, question tags, grammar. When it comes to grammar, it's about articles, it's about subject verb agreement, or just revise all these things. It's about prepositions, it's about tenses, it can be about modals also. Okay, just have a recap with all these grammatical components. Vocabulary, they may ask you direct meaning of a particular word, or meaning of idioms, or meaning of phrases. Okay, so these are the types of, I mean, vocabulary questions that you could be asked, and sometimes they will ask you to find the identify the wrong pair. Okay, but they are all again, the knowledge of vocabulary is something which you have already inherently acquired. If you have plenty of time to prepare for your examination, just go through the question papers. It's not very difficult. Let me tell you, it's not at all difficult. But then your long practice, your knowledge, your reading skills, and your language ability that you have gained generally will help you to solve the questions. But as far as my opinion is concerned, the questions are not that very difficult that you cannot score. So the percentage of questions also asked are very less. So just try to refresh grammar at least, because that is one area wherein if you just try to refresh, perhaps you may not make any mistakes. But in vocabulary is something, at least try to know most commonly used idioms, most commonly used synonyms and antonyms. Just try to revise, try to solve some question papers and enhance your knowledge. So this is all I had to tell you about your English grammar and vocabulary session for training for the PGCET. Wish you all the best. I hope that you all will do your PGCET examination with pass the PGCET examination with flying colors, and join the MCA, good MCA college like JIT, and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.